Let's see what's inside one of these Zico welders. So this is for electronic boards welding. This one is butane. It has a normal refilled butane valve, just standard for lighters. It has an igniter, and this is the reservoir. The problem with this, guys, is that at some point this small piece, metal piece that is lifting the gas valve, this metal piece will just slightly bend and will not allow enough gas to flow, and the heat is going to be smaller. When these are new, when these work fine, they really do have enough heat, and they are very easy to control because the distance between your hand and the tip is very short. It's very, very nice to use this. But unfortunately, at some moment, perhaps you are going to be willing to remove the 4 securing screws. Sorry. 4 securing Phillips screws. You need to find the correct tip of screwdriver. If the tip is too big, it's not going to really grab the screw head. So again, 4 screws, and then you have 2 covers, 2 halves, this half and that half, the black ones. One of them is going to be easier to remove. Depends which one. Just put your fingernail in between them, trying to split them just to lift one of them. The covers are actually not identical. The difference is one cover will have, you see in this area, will have 2 small bumps. The other cover, the one that's on the table, the bumps are going to be bigger, and this is important. This one with small bumps, here at this end you will have the small tip of this metal piece here. So the small tip will go where the small bumps are, right there. The other end of this piece, it's larger, has 2 metal legs that are larger, will go into that plastic, the other half plastic piece, which has bigger bumps, and the end of the metal piece must fit in between those 2 bumps, because when it's inside this metal piece, it's stationary, it does not move. Only the red knob will move, and this piece, actually what it will do, if I'll just keep this together, is when you open the valve, this piece will just overlap this bump and open the valve and let the gas flow. Let's see. This is what it's doing. So this metal piece stays without moving inside. Now you need to remove this piece from there. It's not difficult, I'll show in a moment. And you need to reshape it. Usually, normally, I think it has to be flat, but sometimes it just bends a little bit. I have to admit it, when you want to correct the shape of this metal piece, it's pretty stiff, and it's very, very difficult to give it the right shape to have the right amount of gas. If it's too bent, it will flow too much gas, and it's not going to work. Actually, too much gas will just stop the flame altogether. If it's not enough bent, then it's not going to give enough gas. Also, notice this red piece, if you pull on it, it's actually also opening the valve. So that's why this metal piece really has to have the correction. Now look inside how it looks. So you have all these components here. You have these 2 washers, which actually lock inside the case. If you notice how they have, should not touch them, don't try to unscrew them. They have different angle from each other, and that's because they actually lock inside here. And notice one shape it's for this guy, and the other shape here it's for the other guy. So they kind of lock in place, and that's why it's actually kind of difficult to lift one of the cover. It kind of stucks in there. And then you have this tube that goes into its kind of seat in there. It's a hole. You have the rubber piece here, a hose, which is actually keeping the metal piece in place. And notice that the metal piece has to stay flush with the red knob, so it's centered on the red knob. You can actually slide it off. Just when you disconnect it from there, you just slide it down, and it has a removing hole. So if you align the tip of the valve with this hole into the sorry for the focusing, into the piece, you can lift the piece from there. So you just need to kind of slide it a little bit and it comes out from there. Again, I was saying that this is how it looks inside. And you notice there is a wire for the igniter that goes to the igniter. It has a groove, and when everything is seated in there, you notice that this piece, plastic piece, it's flush with the opening of the cover, if you want. So everything here stays right in there. You can only see half of these pieces. It has to sit like this when you put the other piece back in place. Also notice there is a wire, or I'm not sure what the specific term for it is. It hooks, it has kind of a ring. This wire here has a ring that overlaps this piece, and the other end of this wire, perhaps I'm going to show you, goes at the top of the igniter. So make sure you put him, there is no really special spacing for it. It just kind of stays in there, but make sure you don't crush it with the two covers. And again, this one stays into a groove there. Make sure you don't crush it into in between the covers. Just push it with your fingernail to be fully seated in there. Okay, at this point, let's just try to remove the assembly. And by the way, when you put it back in place, put it first like this, and then slide the red cap or whatever, the red switch, just push it with some force. It's going to bump and lock in place. And it's going to sit like this, and then put the other cover back in, over it. So right now I don't need to remove this one. What you want to do is just kind of wiggle and force a little bit to disconnect, detach from there these two nuts. Just wiggle a bit. Okay, it's going to come off like this. And this other end here, you can actually remove the igniter from there if you want, but it's perhaps easier to just slide it off like this. You need to put it back in place. Also notice that there is a hole here into this piece, and this hole must be sort of aligned like this, because this hole needs to take air from these openings. That's why you want to align. It's not critical, but it's better. Okay, and this one you can actually just pull, and it has the tiny hose that flows the gas. So again, I was talking about this hole. There is no connection in between this guy and this guy. You just slide into each other. That's it. It stays like that. There's no screw, no thread, no nothing. But remember to place that hook on the wire in over them. Okay. And this one, the rubber hose, is what is actually keeping this metal piece in place. Now, I'm not going to lift the other end from here, but I was telling you about the other end of the metal piece. You notice the two kind of metal legs, and there is two bigger, I repeat, bigger plastic bumps on each side that's keeping this from rotating. That's very important. But you see, if you just remove this other cover from there, you just slide this piece down, and through this larger opening, it's just going to lift off. This is the valve, lift off, remove it from there, and notice how it sits. So the U shape goes towards the tip of the welder. So make sure you put it exactly this way, with the U and with these two legs like this. That's how it is inside. All you have to do is to adjust this thing. Unfortunately, it does go out of shape after a while. I cannot tell you how much, and again I repeat, it's very difficult to give it the correct shape. It's possible, but very difficult to match it. You are going to put it back in place. When it's like this, try to do a test. I don't know, try to pull on this red knob a little bit. If you hear the gas flowing, maybe this one is too bent, so you need to reshape it. So before putting the screws back in place, just do a few tests with the gas. Try to get the gas flowing. Do a few tests. You may want to remove the covers again, remove the piece, reshape it again. So it's a repeating process. Be patient. I think it's worth it because these welders are really, really nice. This is the smaller unit. Sorry, I'm zooming it with the camera. I cannot zoom in while filming. It's very, very small shape. It does keep very nicely gas in place. The igniter works. Always starts the flame here without any problem. The tip will wear at some point. You can actually unscrew it, but I didn't find a replacement place, unfortunately. but it does have very good heat for its size. I have no problems working with regular electronic circuitry. Is not going to weld a big bump of soldering, but that's a completely other story. For small works, it's excellent, very light, very small, and also extremely small distance between your hand and the tip, so you can actually have a really control over it. It's absolutely incredible, which I could not find in any other non-gas of these weldings, so welders. So it's very nice, about $25 USD. They ship it, they sell it on eBay, and it's being sold from Israel. So, and I think the last time I checked, the shipping was free, at least to Canada. Don't touch to these screws, by the way. Don't try to undo things there. It's not that expensive, and it's very easy to work with it, and it keeps gas in there for a long time. And you just need a regular butane refill bottle, one of these cans. You find them in any hardware stores for the lighters as well. Okay, hopefully this is helping you. Thanks for watching.